Hey guys, welcome back. So I was blown away from all the great feedback I got from the Future of German Aviation video I released. I think we got 1,000 likes in a day without a War Thunder website feature. It was remarkable. But anyways, on that video, I asked you guys if I should do these for all the nations. In simple terms, it was a solid yes. So today we are going to cover some of the cool planes that War Thunder plans on releasing for Japan. Just to clarify, in this video, I'm not going over every single addition to War Thunder. I'm picking the planes that most interest me and hopefully will interest you. Alright, with that said, let's begin. So we are starting out with the Mitsubishi A7M2. Man, this plane is pretty. I'm just looking at some pics right now. I love the way it looks with its like kind of wing. I don't know, it's kind of like the Corsair a little bit. But anyways, this was the successor to the A6M series. The main goal of this plane was to obviously replace the A6M, but it seriously replaced everything about the A6M. The A7M had superior climb, speed, dive, and maneuverability. It looks like the only thing that this plane didn't have that was better, it had on par to the A6M was armament. It had 13.2 mil or caliber, 13.2 mil and 220s Type 99 cannon, just like the A6M. So really no change in armament, but still the performance is what makes the plane or the pilot, in my opinion. Anyways, with all that added technology to make the A7 better, they had to increase this plane size a lot. I mean a lot. Just to put it in perspective, the A6M's empty weight, this is the one before the A7M, is 1,680 kgs. All right, that's its empty weight. The A7M's empty weight was 3,226 kgs. A huge Japanese single fighter aircraft. I think this is like one of the biggest single fighter Japanese aircraft that we'll have in the game in terms of the empty weight of the aircraft. Next up, we have a cute little aircraft, if I do say myself, the J2m. The Mitsubishi J2m. We'll get the J2M5 version, which supposedly had 6 cannons, and the reason for it to have 6 cannons of 20 mils was because it was designed as a bomber interceptor. This plane had a high surface ceiling and a decent climb to get up to intercept altitude to engage the bombers. However, this plane was no match for US bombers, and certainly no match for the B-29 Superfortress. But still, a very adorable aircraft that will keep my boomerang in the hangar company. Oh yeah, we have to get pumped for this one. We all love the banana boat. If you don't know what the banana boat is, you was very dishonorable. Anyways, the banana boat is the H6K4, which is awesome for custom battles and everything in between. With that said, we are getting a beast of an offspring from the H6K4. Ladies and pilots, let me introduce you to the H8K Emily. This bitch is huge. It is 7,000 kgs heavier than the H6K4 empty weight. Also, it has 5 7.7 millimeters and 5 20 mils. For personal defense, this thing is going to be a low tier beast, and I cannot wait to use it. Yeah, so this plane is pretty sweet, but before I present the next aircraft, I wanted to give you all a little historical tidbit. This is taken right off the devblog release segment, stating the aircraft's effective range reached 7,150 kilometers, which allowed 2 H-8Ks to perform in the second raid on Pearl Harbor, the longest distance 2 aircraft bombing mission ever that involved halfway refueling by a submarine. Like, how badass is that? You'd be like, I-400, can we get some fuel? And the I-400 services like a beast. Just imagine that picture if someone was able to capture it. Such nerdgasm. This plane is possibly my favorite 2-engine heavy fighter other than the Donnie 335. Gotta make that clear. Anyways, just look at this beauty. This is the Ki 83 led by Tomio Kubo, who was the brains behind the Ki 46 project. This thing was armed with 2 30 mils and 2 20s, and with the Japanese test pilots of that time stating that this aircraft displayed remarkable maneuverability for its size, this aircraft will be a huge threat for the American fighters and bombers. A cool little fact that I found out about this aircraft is that its top speed is 705 kilometers an hour at 9,000 meters, with the Japanese late war fuel, What I mean by late war is that it wasn't the best quality. However, when the Americans captured this plane, they took it up to 7,000 meters with American high-octane fuel, and it flew 57 kilometers faster, making it faster than the F-7F Tiger Cat. This next plane is so sexy but yet so dangerous, the famous J7W1. This is probably the aircraft I'm most excited for the Japanese tree. The Japanese refer to this aircraft as Magnificent Lightning, and I think that was a valid nickname, concerning that this plane had a top speed of 750 kilometers an hour. That's faster than the P-51, the Bearcat, or even the Sea Fury. So basically, if Japan had gotten this plane into production, the J7W1 would have been the B-29 killer. The B-29 had a service ceiling of 9,700 meters, and the J7W1 had a service ceiling of 12,000 meters. This meant that this plane could operate at the B-29's high altitude very efficiently. Oh, and by the way, this baby is armed with 430 mils. Super deadly. So one of my main concerns I have with the J7W1 being added to War Thunder is that we already have a canard kind of aircraft like this on the American tree to call the XP-55, and that thing turns like a bus. It's not a good aircraft. I mean, I don't enjoy using it. People say boom and zoom with it, blah blah blah, but I'm just like, yeah, this thing's a piece of crud. But so I don't know if they're going to import the XP-55's flight model for the J7W, because it's kind of the same looking aircraft, and hindering the J7W1 to only be a bomber hunter. Next up is, I believe, Japanese first and only jet fighter of World War II, the Kika J8m1 fighter. This plane was ordered because a Japanese expert saw the trials of the Me-262 in 1944 and requested a similar aircraft to be built. So basically, the J8m1 is the Me-262's little brother. Seriously, it's a smaller plane with a smaller armament and a smaller top speed. The Me-262 has 430s, the J8m1 has 230s. The Me-262 is 1,500 kgs heavier than the J8m1. Now this is the most eye-opening statistic that I discovered. As we know, the Japanese basically copied the aerodynamics of the Me-262s for their J8m1. However, the J8m1 went extremely slower, like 205 kilometers an hour slower. And this was just an example of how advanced the German jet technology of World War II was. The Germans weren't able to land any of their precious UMO engines, so the Japanese had to use their dinky no-thrust producing Ni-20s. Now to put it in perspective, the UMO 004 engines produced 8.8 kilonewtons per engine. On the other hand, the Ni-20 only produced 4.66 kilonewtons, which made this plane extremely slow compared to the Me-262s. Anyways, I think that this plane will be a good contender for Tier 4s. I don't know, against the F-80/F-84 era. It's just that this plane won't be very effective at any higher tier than the F-80, P-80, F-84 era. Last but not least is an aircraft that I'm very excited about. It's basically a Japanese Orado. The R2Y2, which is a successor to the R1Y1, which was a piston engine reconnaissance aircraft. Anyways, the R2Y2 was said to have two Ni-330s, which are very strong jet engines. There's really not that much about this aircraft that I could find out, so it would be cool to see what kind of armaments this plane will be loaded out with. You know, not bombs or torpedoes, but from what I did find out, it stated that the R2Y2G model was proposed to have 430 mils. So there are a lot of questions that I have about this aircraft just because there wasn't much information on this version that we are getting, and the prototype was started but was never finished. So it'd be cool to see what War Thunder does with this aircraft for it to be implemented in War Thunder. Alright guys, that is it for this release tree video. I think I will be doing the Americans next, then Russia, then the British. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, please like, as it makes my day. Till next time guys, peace out.